So I have been organizing, just going through my kitchen cabinets and reorganizing things, um, cleaning out the cabinets. Oh boy. Okay. You got Satan Kitty there growling. That little black and white one, that's Tommy. And that's her kid, I guess. And she hates them. She was the best mom, Kitty. They would all three, there's two of them, Mario and Tommy. And they would sleep together all cuddled. She would like oversee their play and look so proud. And then one day she decided that she hated their guts. And it's been like this ever since. So, and I feel kind of bad for them. And I think some of the other cats do too, but it just growls and hisses at them. That's Gigi. Anyways, I am going through my kitchen, organizing, and just I don't know. Now I can't say decluttering because I really don't have any clutter, and it's kind of like look at my here's my countertop. So I have to have this on here. This is the air fryer. There's my list. Some garlic that I'm going to go plant. It was actually growing in the fridge, so I'm going to put that in my garlic patch. And then a toaster. Now, oh, and then these magnets. Okay, so when I was going through stuff, all these magnets were in one of the drawers, and so I stuck them on the fridge. But usually I have nothing on the fridge. So, except for briefly when I had that picture that Ada drew for me. But that's back in the closet now. I got to get that framed. Anyways, I usually don't have magnets on the refrigerator either, but I can tolerate it for a little bit until I figure out where I'm going to put them. Maybe I'll just leave them there. I don't know. But the toaster is something that was actually it's not something I like to have on the counter. I just use the air fryer for a toaster. But since I've been making bread, Sean's been toasting it. And then there's crumbs from the toaster that were getting into the cabinet. And I'm tired of cleaning it. So I just moved the toaster to the countertop. But normally I have nothing on my counters except for the air fryer. So, and I do have let's see here, a coffee station here, and I got to get those green onions planted. I think we're out of the frost danger and they're ready to go in the ground. So I do, yeah, this does stay on the counter, but I prefer it not. But, anyways, so how to avoid clutter in the first place? Make I make lists for everything. I mean, you saw my Thanksgiving menu with shopping list with recipes. So I make lists for grocery shopping. And I don't usually get too sidetracked. I might throw a couple of things, extra in there, but I know what I need and I don't really get a whole lot of different stuff. Um, yeah, I have to-do lists, grocery lists, lists for things to do when there's nothing to do, like go out and clean the windows or sweep the sidewalks, things that I may forget about. I don't know. I have lists for things to do when there's nothing to do. So the other thing, okay, so I'm going to flip this around and show you how I organized the kitchen. Okay, this is my spice cabinet that I did yesterday. And the first thing I would say that you need to think about when you're organizing is ease of access. So, like, I've got all these spices here and I labeled everything. This is everything bagel, but I mean, that's obvious. I do have a label on the lid. Everything is only one deep, okay? So I'm not piling, five different spice jars in there that I'm going to have to move the first four out to get to the one in the back. So what I'm going to do next time I go to Winco, because I'm almost out of paprika, I'm completely out of chili seasoning, so I'm going to have to pick up some of that. And I'll probably put the paprika in the back and then the chili on the front. Um, I'll get like extra cinnamon or extra cayenne, and I will put it behind that. Or the other thing is you can do like similar things. So, like, say, I'm not going to have room for chili powder, so I'm going to put that kind of by the paprika, and I don't know, I'll remember that. I'll probably put the paprika in the back and the chili powder in the front. Make sure everything is labeled. I got baking soda here, baking powder, and then any extra. I think I have a whole, yep, baking soda in the back. And then on this Lazy Susan here, I don't know, most of this stuff except for that, I don't use a whole lot. So, oh, and I use the crushed red pepper like daily. Okay, and I found taco seasoning in the back of the cupboard, so that's good. These are seasonings that I use quite a bit. And then these are ones that I made out of my garden. So we got dill, a bunch of oregano. If I have basil, I'll have basil in there this summer, and I'm almost out of dill, so I'm gonna have to get stocked up on that. And then over here, I've got all of my oils together. So cooking spray, avocado oil, beef tallow, coconut oil, and then my misto sprayer. Salts, a couple of different salt shakers. I've got my loose Himalayan salt right there. Actually, no, this is Redmond salt. Iodinized salt. Behind the cornstarch, I have extra salt back there too. Bread yeast, honey, 2 different kinds of peanut butter. Anyways, all of this is just really easy to access because it's right there staring me in the face. So that's that cabinet. And then, you know, put like things with like things or logically pair them together, like I was talking about with the paprika and the chili powder. And everything has its place. So this used to be the plastic container thing. And you know what I'd really like are some pull outs for here, but I'm not going to invest a whole lot in these cabinets because I'm probably going to be getting rid of them. They're probably original to the house. And I painted them. They were oak. But yeah, so all my cooking pots up here on the top, mixing bowls, bakeware, and then this area here. These are baking dishes. I got all the glass ones here. And then I have some odd shaped stuff like the pizza pan, so and the cutting board. But it's a lot more organized than it used to be. And then let's see. Again, likes with likes and ease of access. So I got all my knives, scissors, all the spatulas. Random spoons and silverware. That one was easy. Okay, this is all kinds of kitchen gadgets, but I have all of my cheese stuff and peeling stuff right here. I've got, you know what this is for? This is for like a little mini muffin tin, and you put your little crust, like a ball of crust in there, and you press it down and it fills up the tin. Kind of a neat little gadget. Can openers, so many can openers, but whatever. I didn't even do that one. What do we have down here? Oh, yeah. And I put some contact paper. I had some extra contact paper. So, frying pans up here along the top. And then everything. This is a hand crank cheese, vegetable, shredder, I don't know, slicer, waffle maker, all that's there. So again, ease of access. Everything is super easy to get to. Junk drawer. That's about as organized as that's going to get. And then I did all my towels. So these are, every single one of these in here is a washcloth. Those are the big towels. Okay, so this might look a little hodgepodgey in here, but these, so we got all these measuring cups. And you know what? I don't even need that because I don't measure anything, but let alone 1, 2, 3 sets. But I kept them anyways. In fact, I think these ones were from home, and these ones may have been a gift from mom for Christmas one year for those. Funnels, I use these a lot. This is for canning. I should probably just throw that away. I'll keep it. I'll probably go looking for it and You're like, where is that? And then this is, I don't know, this is cheesecloth that I use for making a ferment. And then the immersion blender, some, I don't know, cookie cutter sets, spritz makers. And I moved all of my plastic containers over here. They're all single layer, easy to get to, easy access. I keep my coffee mugs down here because if I put it in the regular cabinet, they disappear or they get broken. So that is organization 101. So hold on here. So that's how I have my kitchen organized now. You know, it could be better. It would be nice to have pull out drawers or things like that, or a place to keep those pans that are really long, you know, like the pizza pan or the cutting board. But I just don't have that in this kitchen. So it is what it is. But make sure you make a list when you go to the grocery store, or I guess anytime you're going shopping, you know, you kind of take, if you're going to the hardware store or whatever, just write down a quick list, stick to it, try to avoid impulse buying because a lot of times that stuff ends up being clutter. Make sure that you're thinking about ease of access when you're putting things away. You know, you don't want to stack them 10 deep, so you have to pull out a whole bunch of stuff to access the item that you're looking for. You want it to be easy to find and easy to put away. And then put like things with like things, like you saw how I had the salts and the peanut butters all together. Just kind of use some logic when you're putting things next to each other. You know, like I have the cumin next to the cayenne pepper. You know, they kind of go together. And then the things that you use the most, make sure that it's in the most easily accessible spot. You know, like I had a couple of things on the Lazy Susan that I use daily, like the crushed red pepper. It is right there. I use taco seasoning quite a bit. Everything has its place, and use labels. And that's my tips for staying organized and avoiding clutter. Hope it helps somebody. So something else I forgot to mention is, you know, when you're organizing things, it's going to be different for everybody. You know, what makes sense to me might not make sense for somebody else's kitchen. You know, like how I've got my coffee mugs down with the plastic containers, you know. I mean, organization looks different for everybody's situation.